Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Trey here. For those that are new, welcome to the most poppin' channel on YouTube. And for those that have already subscribed, you know it's good. You know it's poppin'. You know what to expect. So, as you can tell by the title of this video, this is my coming out story. And I want to apologize in advance if I get a little emotional, maybe tear up a bit. But this is a very near and dear story that's close to my heart. I've never talked about it on an open forum about my experiences and what I've gone through, but I felt that it's time. And I hope that if you are going through a similar experience, or if you are questioning or anything of that nature, that this video helps you and helps you realize that you're not the only one that's gone through. And firstly, I'd like to start by saying if I have any friends or family that is watching this, I love you dearly. Okay, so let's dive right in. And yeah, so to start, I always knew that I was gay ever since I was little. I would say about 5 or 6, I always knew that I was attracted to boys at the time and now guys. I was always a pink Power Ranger. I was always Storm from X-Men whenever we played at the park, and I just always knew. But I grew up in a household where being gay was not allowed. I grew up in a very Christian family, a very culturally against homophobic people, and at times I found it very hard to be or struggle with who I was as a person, because I was told in church that being gay was not okay, in my household it was not okay, and that I would go to hell if I chose to live this lifestyle, is what I was taught. So growing up, I went to church every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it was constant. The ridicule and the condemning of gay people was constant. In my household, it was always almost... It was almost like I didn't belong and I didn't fit in. And I would always try and force myself to, you know, not be gay and not try and think in that way because I wasn't allowed to, I wasn't supposed to. But deep down I always knew, I was like, this is not going to go away. Whether I prayed and prayed or people prayed for me, it was just not going to go away. And growing up, it was super challenging to live with that because of all these external factors telling me that I couldn't be who I was and that I wasn't allowed to be who I was, otherwise I would spend my life in hell. And growing up, it was very much so at times. My parents were very, very strict. I wasn't allowed to go out at certain times versus my friends were able to. And I always wish and I prayed that, I was like, man, like, why did I get stuck with parents who aren't accepting? I have friends and family that it was so easy for them to come out and their parents loved them for who they were. They didn't care. It was a 2-second conversation. And I was like, you know what, the day that I decide to come out, I know that it's not going to be like that for me at all. So I grew up when I was 16. It was my first attempt. I had come back from a friend's house, and it was like one of my first times drinking, and my stepdad was like, "Are you drinking tonight?" And I was like, "No," like, whatever. Meanwhile, I was like lit. And the next couple of days, he had taken my phone away because I had told him that I was drinking, and he's like, should I be concerned about anything on your phone, because he took my phone away. And at the the time I knew that I was messaging a guy, and I was like, you know what, this could be my opportunity just to kind of come clean and be honest. And backfired hard. Backfired so hard. It was this huge ordeal. I was threatened. I was made to feel very uncomfortable in my house. And I knew, I was like, this is exactly what I was afraid of coming out. Just the most negative experience you could think of, coming from a Caribbean background. It was just not okay, and it was not going to be okay as long as I was living in that house. So at the time, I was like, what am I going to do? I am 16, I don't have a job, I have nowhere to go. My whole family feels the same exact way as my parents do, so that's out of the question. I can't live with my friends. So my only option, or that I felt was my only option, was to go back in the closet. So that's what I did until I was about 18, and I started university. And then I went to my first bride with my best friend at the time, and it was an amazing experience. I was surrounded and engulfed in such a culture where you could be whoever you wanted to be. There was lesbians, there was transgender people, there was bisexual people, the whole spectrum was there, but it didn't matter who you were or what you wanted to identify as. It was just positivity all around, and everyone was just sharing love and giving out the vibe of love. And I was like, wow, what an amazing environment, and to be a part of this amazing celebration of people. So I went back and I was like, you know what, I'm going to university now, I live away from home. I was like, here's my chance, and you know what, it hasn't changed, I still am the same person. And that's when it all exploded. So I remember telling my mom and my stepdad separately, and then we got together after we went to dinner. It was just us three. And it started off with a conversation, and then emotions just ran wild, and it was a bomb that went off. Everyone was crying, everybody was screaming at one another. Things were exchanged that should never have been exchanged on both parties. I've forgiven them for what was said to me, but I will never forget what I was told in that car that day. And it's just not something that anybody should hear, let alone your family, because you're supposed to love them and love them for who they are. So I didn't talk to them for a few months. Went back to school. We started talking periodically. Nothing was really resolved or talked about in regards to it. Then the summer, it was just more restriction, more isolation from my family, from my brothers, from various things. And I was like, you know what, once I'm done university, I can't live here. I can't live in this environment. I can't live with these people. I need to be in a space where I'm able to find myself, to become accepting of myself, because being in that environment and being in an environment where you're told not to be gay or not to live this kind of lifestyle, it does things to people, it does things to you. You start thinking in such a way where you feel you're not deserving of love, you're not deserving of care, of family. And I was like, you know what, I can only imagine what people have to go through who had it rougher than I have. And I was like, you know what, an opportunity presented itself to do my master's, so I did that. But it was almost like I was doing things to try and prove to them that I'm gay, but I'm also all of these other things. I'm successful, I have 2 degrees, I have a great job, I've never been all these negative things, just to show them that I can be who I am, but also be gay at the same time. And So fast forward to a few years ago, it gets better, it got a little better. We were able to have conversations about it openly without yelling, without screaming. And fast forward to 2 days ago when I was even able to talk to my mom and have an open conversation about me doing a coming out video for you guys. And she was supportive. She was like, you know what, we've come a long way. I love you for who you are. You're my son. And just to hear those words is something that you always wish or that I had in the beginning, because it would have made it a lot easier coming out. And just those simple words meant so much to hear from my mom, because it was her and I for a while, single mom growing up, all that kind of stuff. But to hear those words after going through so much heartache and to feel so alone at 25 just literally meant the most to me. And that's why I was like, you know what, it's super important to share and to talk about these things, because so many people go through it. And I just want you guys to know, if you're watching this video and you're going through a similar situation, that you are loved and you are appreciated. And over time it does get better, and it may not be with family, but your friends and your friends who become family. So I want you to always remember that and to always take that with you. And if I can be of any help, comment, subscribe, like, and I will give you the most open and honest answers of what to do, how to handle it, what steps I took a little bit more in detail, and I will for sure, someone's coming for me, to respond to you, because it's challenging and not everybody understands it, and people are afraid of what they don't understand, and it's a very troubling experience. So I hope this video helps you. My advice would be to do it at your own time, whenever you feel you're ready, whenever you feel that you have the means of being able to, let's say, support yourself, or you have that support system set in place. If you have a family like mine that wasn't so accepting at first, and there's a lot of resources available that are out there. You just simply Google and they'll come up and support you. And again, you are loved, you are who you are, and that's okay. But yeah, anyways guys, thank you so much for watching my coming out story. I hope you were touched. I hope that you understand a bit more, and yeah, stay tuned for my next video. Cheers.